$1,800. That is what the average American spends every single year just to stay connected. Phone bill, data plan, cloud storage, insurance, upgrade payments, over 10 years, that is $18,000. Not on a car, not on a house, not on an investment, just to make calls and check messages. Now, imagine a phone that costs $199. And eliminates your monthly phone bill for 10 years. That is the promise behind the so-called Tesla Pi phone, a $200 device with lifetime Starlink connectivity. No carrier contracts. No recurring data fees. It sounds impossible. It sounds like clickbait, but here is the important part. There are real pieces of technology behind this rumored Tesla already builds batteries. SpaceX operates Starlink satellites across the globe, and Elon Musk has repeatedly hinted at deeper ecosystem integration. So the question is not whether it sounds exciting. The real question is this. Is it financially and technically possible for Tesla to release a $199 phone that eliminates monthly bills? Or is this just another internet myth? In this video, we will break it down clearly. What is technically realistic? What is financially possible? What the risks are? And whether this could actually save you thousands over the next decade. Quick reminder before we continue: if you want realistic, no-hype breakdowns of Tesla technology and big claims like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We separate speculation from facts. Now, let us start with the biggest claim of all. Free internet. Is lifetime Starlink on a phone even possible? Starlink Direct-to-Cell. Is free internet actually possible? Everything depends on this. If the Tesla Pi phone can connect directly to satellites without a traditional carrier, then the no phone bills claim becomes technically possible. If not, the entire idea collapses. So let us separate fantasy from physics. SpaceX has already launched thousands of Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit. More importantly, they have announced direct-to-cell capability. That means satellites can communicate directly with standard smartphones without requiring a large satellite dish. This is not theory. Limited testing with carriers like T-Mobile has already begun, however. Here is the critical detail most people ignore. Direct-to-cell is not the same as unlimited high-speed internet. Current satellite-to-phone technology focuses on text messaging, emergency alerts. Basic data services. Full broadband speeds from space to a handheld phone are much more difficult. Bandwidth from satellites is limited. Latency is higher than fiber or 5G. Capacity must be shared across large geographic areas. So what does that mean for a hypothetical Tesla Pi phone? If Tesla integrates a specialized satellite modem and uses Starlink's expanding infrastructure, basic connectivity without a traditional carrier is realistic. Calls. Text. Light browsing. Emergency access. But replacing high-speed urban 5G entirely? That is more complicated. Now here is where the business model matters. Tesla does not operate like traditional phone manufacturers. Apple and Samsung make money from hardware, margins, and recurring services. Tesla's ecosystem is different. A phone could serve as a control hub. Car access, energy systems, Starlink, integration, artificial intelligence tools. In that scenario, the phone itself does not need to generate massive profit. It strengthens the ecosystem. But even then, lifetime free internet does not automatically mean unlimited usage forever. It likely means basic satellite connectivity included, premium features possibly optional. Fair usage policies enforced. The idea is not absurd. But the expectations must be realistic. Free unlimited 4K streaming from space on a $200 phone? That stretches engineering reality. Basic connectivity without a monthly carrier contract? That is technically plausible, and that distinction changes everything. Because if Tesla positions the Pi phone as a connectivity safety net plus ecosystem device, not a high-end flagship competitor, then the economics start to make more sense. Now we need to look at the second big claim. Even if connectivity works, how can Tesla sell a phone for $199 without losing money? That is where the business strategy becomes interesting. How can Tesla sell a $199 phone? This is the part that makes most people skeptical. $200 for a smartphone. With satellite connectivity. How does that make financial sense? Because if Tesla loses money on every phone, the model collapses quickly. So let us break this down rationally. First, hardware margins in smartphones are often exaggerated. Most flagship phones cost far less to manufacture than their retail price. Suggests the difference funds marketing, retail stores, carrier partnerships, and profit. If Tesla avoids those traditional layers, costs shrink. Tesla does not need carrier partnerships. They sell direct, they manufacture at scale, they control supply chains tightly. That already changes the equation. Second, ecosystem strategy matters more than device profit. Tesla does not think like Apple. Apple sells hardware and locks you into services. Tesla builds an integrated environment. Car. Energy storage. Solar. Starlink connectivity, artificial intelligence systems. A Tesla phone could become the control center for all of it. Unlock your car, monitor your Powerwall. Manage Starlink bandwidth, access vehicle diagnostics. If the phone strengthens customer loyalty and increases long-term ecosystem spending, it does not need high hardware margins. It becomes a gateway product. Third, scale economics. Tesla already produces millions of battery cells annually. They already design in-house chips for vehicle computing. They already integrate artificial intelligence software stacks. If those components are reused or adapted, development costs decrease. Additionally, if the phone uses mid-tier components instead of flagship-level processors, manufacturing costs remain manageable. A $200 phone does not need to compete with a $1,500 flagship. It needs to function reliably. Fourth, connectivity economics. SpaceX already operates the Starlink satellite network. Once satellites are in orbit, adding incremental users increases revenue without dramatically increasing infrastructure costs. Basic connectivity included with a phone could act as a subscriber acquisition tool. Premium data tiers, enterprise integration, or expanded bandwidth packages could still generate revenue. In that model, no phone bill does not mean zero monetization. It means no traditional carrier contract. That distinction is important. Now here is the honest limitation. Even if Tesla could technically sell a phone at $200, lifetime unlimited connectivity would require extremely careful bandwidth management. Satellite capacity is finite. Fair use policies would likely apply. Heavy streaming and gaming might not fall under basic free access. So the more realistic interpretation is this: a low-cost Tesla phone. With essential connectivity included, integrated deeply into the Tesla ecosystem. With optional premium services. That is financially plausible. A magical device that replaces fiber internet at no cost forever. That is far less likely. And that brings us to the next critical area. Even if the business model works, would the hardware actually be durable and useful long-term? Because saving money means nothing if the phone dies in 2 years. That is what we examine next. Will IT actually last 5 to 10 years? Saving money only matters if the phone survives long enough to justify it, because here is the uncomfortable truth. Most smartphones are not built to last 10 years. Batteries degrade, screens crack, software slows down. So, if the Tesla Pi phone truly promises long-term savings, durability becomes critical. Let us start with the battery. If Tesla enters the smartphone market, they will not use outdated chemistry. Tesla has spent years refining battery design in electric vehicles. While a phone battery is much smaller than a vehicle battery, thermal management principles still apply. If Tesla incorporates improved cell chemistry or better heat control, battery degradation could be slower than typical lithium-ion phones. Most current smartphones drop to around 80% battery health after roughly 500 to 800 full charge cycles. If Tesla targets 1,500 to 2,000 cycles before major degradation, that alone could double usable lifespan. That matters because battery failure is the number one reason people upgrade. Now, consider durability. If Tesla designs the Pi phone using stronger alloys or composite frames, Similar to materials used in vehicles, drop resistance could improve significantly. Most flagship phones prioritize thinness over strength. Tesla would likely prioritize function over fashion, thicker chassis, stronger frame, better sealing. That approach aligns with Tesla's engineering style. Software longevity is equally important. Phones slow down not only because of hardware aging, but because software becomes heavier over time. If Tesla designs a streamlined operating system focused on integration, not advertising or bloatware, long-term performance may remain more stable. However, here's the reality check. Building a car and building a phone are very different challenges. Smartphone supply chains are highly specialized. Component miniaturization requires precision at scale. Even a company as advanced as Tesla would face a steep learning curve. Early generations may not be perfect. So, while a 5 to 7 year lifespan is plausible with good engineering, a guaranteed 10-year device with no major issues is optimistic. That does not mean it fails. It means expectations must stay grounded. Now ask yourself this: if the phone lasts 6 to 7 years instead of 3 and reduces or eliminates monthly bills, does it still deliver strong value? For many people, the answer would be yes, but durability alone is not enough. We also need to examine the biggest risk of all, the ecosystem gamble, because switching to a new operating system is not simple. That is where things become more complicated. If this realistic breakdown is helping you see past the hype, subscribe to the channel. We focus on practical Tesla analysis and long-term value, not just headlines. The software gamble: can Tesla compete with Apple and Google? Hardware is important. Battery life matters. Connectivity is critical, but none of that determines success. Software does, because when you switch phones, you are not just buying hardware, you are entering an ecosystem. Right now, the smartphone world is controlled by two giants, Apple and Android. Every banking app, every messaging platform, every medical portal, every family group chat, they live inside those ecosystems. So if Tesla launches a Pi phone with its own operating system, the biggest challenge will not be hardware, it will be app support. Tesla is exceptional at vehicle software, but building a mobile operating system is an entirely different battlefield. Developers must support it. Apps must be optimized. Security must be proven. If Tesla launches with limited app compatibility, early adopters could face friction. No niche apps, delayed updates, incomplete. It is a deal breaker. Now here is the more realistic scenario. Tesla could build the Pi phone on a modified Android foundation that would allow access to existing apps while layering assistant integration. That approach reduces ecosystem risk, but it does not eliminate it. Switching costs are real. You may lose seamless iMessage integration, FaceTime, familiarity. AirDrop style features for families deeply embedded in one ecosystem. Social friction can become surprisingly powerful. There is also the privacy angle. Tesla could market on-device tracking. That would appeal to users concerned about data harvesting. However, single breach damages credibility quickly. Now here is the key insight. The Tesla Pi phone does not need to replace every smartphone. It only needs to attract a specific segment. Tesla owners, cost-conscious, who want integration over brand loyalty. If it captures even a fraction of that audience, it can survive, but it will not dominate overnight. And that brings us to the final, most important question. Even with all risks considered, does a $200 Tesla phone with included connectivity actually make financial sense for the average person? Can Elon Musk's $200 Tesla Pi phone really eliminate phone bills for 10 years? Here's the honest answer: not exactly, but possibly close enough to matter. Let us be realistic. A phone that completely replaces fiber internet, 5G streaming, and every carrier service for free forever is highly unlikely. Satellite bandwidth has limits, infrastructure. A phone that includes basic satellite connectivity, a phone that removes traditional carrier contracts, and Starlink, a phone that lasts 5 to 7 years instead of 3, that is plausible. And if that happens, to $100 per month for service, even at $70 per month, Over 10 years, that equals $8,400. The savings are meaningful. If it eliminates it entirely for basic usage, the disruption becomes real. But here is the key insight. This is not about replacing Apple or Android overnight. It is about redefining value. Tesla does not need to win the smartphone war. It only needs to offer a financially rational alternative. For a specific group of users. Tesla owners. Rural customers. Cost-sensitive families. Tech enthusiasts who value ecosystem integration. If the payphone becomes the control center for your car, your home battery, your satellite internet, your artificial intelligence assistant, then the device stops being a phone. It becomes infrastructure. But there are still risks. App ecosystem uncertainty. First generation. Hardware limitations. Bandwidth. Restrictions. Regulatory hurdles. This will not be perfect on day one. And if Tesla announces the device, early buyers should expect iteration. So does the Tesla Pi phone eliminate phone bills for 10 years? It might reduce them significantly. It might remove traditional contracts, but completely free unlimited connectivity forever. That is less likely. Still, even partial disruption in this space would be massive, because once consumers realize they do not have to accept endless monthly bills, the industry changes, and that is what makes this story powerful, not hype. Possibility. If you want realistic updates the moment Tesla officially confirms or denies the Pi phone, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Comment below. Would you switch to a Tesla phone if it cut your phone bill in half? Or would you need complete freedom from monthly fees? In the next video, if that interests you, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay practical, and I will see you in the next one.